Today we're going to do a quick tutorial on how to model the Tear of the Goddess from League of Legends. Here's a reference of what it looks like, and we're going to pull it into Blender by doing image, mesh plane. We're going to grab this over, change the view to rendered view, go into shading, and just make this an emission. That way we remove it interacting with the lighting of the world. There we go, nice. We can scale this and make it bigger. So when we're working on this, what do we need to do? We need to use a mesh circle. From looking at the reference, we see it only has 8 faces, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we go to the resolution here, we make it 8. It's easy as that. We tap into edit mode, we say rotate on the Y, and let's do 90 degrees, I think. And that should pull it up. Nice, looking good. Now all we have to do is kind of move these points around. I'm making sure I'm in the right view. I'm viewing off of the x-axis here. I'm just gonna pull it up and kind of make this little kind of like teardrop shape. I'm using it mostly as a reference too, but kind of making my own interpretation. So something like that looks okay. I'm gonna grab all the faces with A, push F to fill. Now the face has been filled. I'm gonna Alt click to get this, edge loop, push E to extrude, pull it out. Then I'm gonna push S to scale and scale it out. So looking at this, maybe even scale it a bit further out actually. I think it's looking good. So now what we need to do is we need to select that face in the back, so pushing 3 and then clicking, then Shift S to move the cursor to selected. We're gonna tab back out and we're gonna change the object origin. This is done so that way we can do a mirror modifier really easily. So add modifier, generate mirror. Nice. We're gonna tab back in, Alt Z to get X-ray mode, click back on that face if I can. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. And then X and delete the face. Now it's clean geometry and it's not messing with anything. Cool. So that has been done. We have the inner tier done, and now we need to do the outer tier. So we have, as you can see, there's the inner tier kind of right here, and there's the outer one as well. So very cool. So let's F2 to rename this. Let's say inner tier. Let's just make a really quick Toon shaded material to make it make sense. So we're gonna go into shading. We're gonna do new, delete the principal BSDF. We're gonna do a mix of a glossy BSDF and a diffuse BSDF. And this is the main trick on how to do Toon shaders. So for the color, we're going to use, click into here and click the eyedropper and grab that. And I think for glossy, let's just check afterwards. So pop that in. We're getting some shading. It's looking okay. And then the glossy looks like this. Let's move this closer. Let's move into rendered view. That'll be a bit cleaner. Pull it there. Nice. I think that looks good. We'll have it be the highlights. Let's move the light to be kind of where it's supposed to be shining. Trace is like right on that one edge, like right here pretty much. Maybe a bit closer. So let's just kind of pull that in. There we go. Now it's looking like it's mostly lined up. Out. Very cool. Whoops. X. Pull it in. Control Alt 0 to get the camera moved on. Now it's looking pretty close. We can move this around. Yeah, I think it's looking okay. So then we can click into here and we're gonna mix the two together. We're gonna do mix shader. Actually, no, we're not. Just kidding. We're gonna do shader to RGB. We can only use this node when we're inside Eevee. So all this work is gonna be inside Eevee to mix this. Then using Node Wrangler, we're gonna do Control Shift right click to get a mix shader node to happen. And then what we're gonna do is I think lighten as the blend, pull it in and see how that's looking. It's compiling the shaders, it'll take a minute. Okay, it might be too much. So let's do a color ramp. This is gonna go here. And we can look at this. We can maybe pull this in. Like that maybe. And now it's kind of getting that highlight look. We can do lighten, maybe screen might make more sense. Let's just look through. Yeah, maybe screen makes a bit more sense here. But I think it's looking okay. It's close enough. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just trying to do a quick view. So this is kind of the main thing. So let's say inner tier here. And now we got to do the outer tier. We're going to parent them together. So I'm going to do Shift D to duplicate it, F2 to rename. So I'll say outer tier. And let's scale this like that. And let's do Control 2 to do a subdiv surface. So right click, shade smooth. Shade auto smooth, perfect. I'm gonna tab in, pull in one. I'm gonna go back to the X view to make sure I have a clean view of it. Just grab this up a little bit. Nice. Okay. Shade auto smooth. And then we need to change this material. So we will copy it and call it outer tier material. And then from here, the big trick is we're gonna do the backface culling. So for now, I'm just gonna delete everything. And we're gonna go to geometry. And we have backfacing right here. This is gonna give us a mask to make sure we can have that transparency inside of it. So we're gonna do a mix shader. And this is going to be the factor. We'll pull it up here. And we're gonna do a transparent BSDF. And then we're going to do a, I guess, diffuse. The same exact trick we did before. Diffuse BSDF, and then also a glossy, which I guess we can do afterwards with the glossy. We'll mix it in afterwards. So let's click into here with the diffuse, grab the eyedrop tool, and let's get that lighter blue. Nice, we're looking pretty close now. So we need to add the glossy overall. So let's do that here. So glossy BSDF. And the reason why we're doing it afterwards is we want to have the shine of the outer glass on the actual material impacting everything. So again, we look at this, we're seeing that kind of glossy shine. Perfect. It's coming in. And we're going to do a mix shader. Pull that in. Nice. Okay, so just to kind of recap, what I've decided to do is just mix in the glossy BSDF at the end. It was a bit of a challenge to kind of figure it out because we had to make sure that the back facing is still going through. So it has to be in the shader editor. If we do shader to RGB, then that will go away and it'll get all black. So I think it's basically good enough. And then what we can do is add in an extra light source on the other side to kind of play with that lighting. And so then we move the camera around. We're kind of getting some cool kind of shadows. But mostly from looking at the front, it's looking like it's hitting it perfectly. So R, Z, we can move it around there. It's looking pretty good. So now what we needed to do is add the outlining on the kind of the inner tier. We're gonna do that basically by going into geometry nodes, taking it, and we're gonna do a wireframe to make it have that kind of outline. So we're gonna do join geometry, mesh to curve, and then curve to mesh. We're gonna join it up, and let's just make this invisible for now. And then from here, the profile curve is going to be a curved circle. Pull that in, make it like 16 and like 0.2 fill caps, a lot smaller. Whoops, 16, 0.05, maybe even a bit smaller than that, 0.03 maybe. And then we're going to set the material on that, set material. And let's go to shading and make a new material. And so let's say outline material. And let's go to geometry nodes, outline material, go back into shading, and we're able to see it. Now the outline material, I think this should be on the inner tier. And then if we click off, we go to outline material, then we can change this to make it make more sense. So then what we can do is we can take this and probably do the same thing, but with the glossy BSDF. Let's actually multiply this. So let's change this to make it a bit more. So then essentially what's happening is the glossy BSDF is going to lighten. And let's go back to, this should be the inner tier. And if we turn this back on, we're kind of seeing that outline. Honestly, it's a little too much. Let's go back in geometry nodes and make it even smaller. Rendered view, parent these two together. So we're clicking the inner then the outer and we're doing Control P to parent. Now they're parented together. Move it around, rotate on the Z. So we look at the camera, rotate Z. Get a nice little spin. I'm happy with it. It reads well enough. I think there's some areas where we could improve the toon shading to make it look a bit more like it, but I think it looks pretty good for considering it was just a quick render. If you're finding this helpful at any point, please leave a comment below. It really means a lot. Thanks, guys.
Augury.